Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rufus Vasantraj. I am basically working as a senior consultant and orthopedic surgeon at Rela Institute and Medical Center, Krompet. I am specialized in joint replacement, trauma, arthroscopy and sports medicine. I did my MBBS from Madras Medical College and further entered my orthopedic specialty training and also was trained in various places including Spain, Australia, China and Singapore. So, I am going to talk about a very common topic, that is knee pain in elderly. When we look at the term elderly, the word elderly usually denotes people who are more than 65 years of age. But any patient who is more than 50 years of age can start developing mild knee pain. So, the reason for this knee pain is basically because the patient might have started developing arthritis. What is arthritis? Arthritis is nothing but degeneration of your knee joint. So, degeneration is nothing but like how your hair becomes white. So, if you look at the knee joint, basically any joint in your body has got a smooth surface called as cartilage. So, this smooth surface allows the knee joint or any joint in your body to move freely without any hindrance. So, as we become older, the knee joint also becomes older. So, the cartilage wears out slowly. This wearing out of the cartilage is called as arthritis, and this can cause various problems to a patient. From a patient's point of view, what are the common complaints which can occur? The first thing is that the patient can start developing knee pain. When does a knee pain develop? The knee pain is more classically when the patient tries to climb up stairs, sit down and get up, sit down cross legs, squat or use Indian type of toilet. The patient can also start developing stiffness in the knee joint, allowing limited motion in the knee joint. The patient can also notice swelling on and around the knee joint. The other common complaints of the patient come are with visible deformities below the knee, that is the leg can move inward or outward, looking at what we call as varus or valgus deformity of the knee. So, basically when the patient has got all these complaints, it is high time for them to visit a doctor. So, when a patient comes to a doctor like me, the first thing I would notice is that how the patient is walking. This is called as gait. I would like to observe how the patient is walking into my clinic. So, I would look at the gait abnormalities. Gait is nothing but how the patient walks, and there can be always a waddling gait or a different kind of gait which I would like to appreciate. Next, I would ask the patient to stand straight and look at the knee and below the knee, where I can look at visible deformities like varus or valgus, that is inward or outward movement of the leg. The third thing I would ask the patient is to lie down on an examination couch, where I would look at the gap between the back side of the knee and the examination couch. This is called as a fixed flexion deformity, which is very classical in late stages of arthritis. The other things which I might notice is pain, exactly where the patient develops pain. I would like to examine three kinds of joints, that is the inner aspect of the knee, outer aspect of the knee and behind the kneecap. These are the three basic joints which form the knee joint, and these are the common places where arthritis can develop. And I would also like to know the movement of the knee joint to see whether there are any deformities which are aggravating it. So, once a doctor feels or once I feel that the patient has signs of arthritis, I would like to take an X-ray. So, what kind of X-ray? There are different views of X-ray. The one X-ray is that the most important X-ray is ask the patient to stand straight, and this is very important because that is the weight bearing position of the knee joint. If the X-ray is done with the patient lying down, you might not appreciate the joint space reduction in the knee. So, the best view of an X-ray is to make the patient stand and look at the straight view of the X-ray, that is called as an anteroposterior view of the X-ray. The other views of the X-ray are lateral views and skyline views, which are more classically useful in looking at the patellofemoral joint, that is the joint between the kneecap and your thigh bone. So, these are the various places where arthritis can be appreciated. In addition, if I am planning for a surgical intervention, I would like to have a complete X-ray right from the hip to the ankle. So, this will show the various deformities and would allow me to plan my surgery accordingly. Once the X-ray is done, sometimes the doctor or myself might require to do some blood investigations, because if the patient has got multiple joint pains or small joint pain involving the hand or early morning stiffness, there can be other reasons for pain, that is it can be a rheumatoid arthritis which is causing an arthritis. In such situations, I would always like to rule out the all possibilities before starting the treatment for the patient. Now, looking at the treatment options are purely based on how the X-ray is looking. So, looking at the X-ray, I would like to divide it into totally 4 stages. Stage 1 is doubtful, stage 2 is mild, stage 3 is moderate and stage 4 is severe. If you look at the stage 1 or doubtful arthritis, usually in Indian population we hardly see patients in stage 1 arthritic phase because they do not come to a doctor, they try to manage the pain. But if you look at abroad countries where I have worked or various abroad places where they are more active, people above 50 and 65 are involved in a lot of sports and sports related activities. So, even a mild pain, they would like to investigate and find out what it is. But unfortunately, in India, usually people who are 50 plus or 65 plus are hardly involved in any sports or sports related activities. So, usually they try to ignore the pain and they do not come to a doctor at this phase, but this is a very important phase. Next phase is stage 2 arthritis, that is nothing but mild arthritis. So, the stage 1 and stage 2 arthritis are very crucial because we have a high chance of reversing the process or at least preventing further damage and saving the knee joint. So, various treatment options at this phase of the arthritis, that is stage 1 or stage 2 arthritis are, the first one is tablets. There are various options of tablets which are cartilage promoting tablets. So, these cartilage promoting tablets help to promote the cartilage growth, even though there are not 100% proven effects, but still there is nothing harm in trying it. The second important thing is physiotherapy. If you look at the physiotherapy, there are two modalities of treatment. One is pain relief, the other one is exercises. If you look at the pain relief options are nothing but interferential therapy, ultrasound therapy, wax bath, laser therapy. These are nothing but how a hot water bag or ice pack works, but these are more concentrated to a particular region. So, these are basically pain relief modalities which are done at the early phases where the patient is suffering from pain, so that they can come out of pain and can be little bit pain free. The other treatment option in a physiotherapy is teaching them exercises. The concept of exercises is to strengthen your thigh muscles and your leg muscles. So, once your thigh and leg muscles become strong, they can take up more load. So, the load falling on your knee joint is reduced. Once the load falling on your knee joint is reduced, automatically the patient feels little bit painless and also prevents further damage in the cartilage. The other options of treatment in a stage 1 or a stage 2 arthritis are injections. The common injections which have been done for a very long time is steroids. If you go to any doctor, most of the times in the previous past history, they would be giving you a steroid injection. The advantage of steroid injection is it is very cheap, it is an immediate pain relief feeling, and it is also an anti-inflammatory. But the disadvantage is that giving multiple doses of steroid injections can cause infection in your knee joint and itself per se can cause damage to your cartilage. So, as a doctor, or from my point of view, I would advise a steroid injection only in an acute inflammatory phase of the knee, that is called as an acute exacerbation of the OA knee. Otherwise, generally I do not require a steroid injection. So, the other modalities of injection options are, there is something called as hyaluronic acid injection. Hyaluronic acid is nothing but a normal knee joint contains a fluid called as hyaluronic acid. So, in arthritic knee, the hyaluronic acid content comes down. In such situations, we can artificially inject hyaluronic acid into the knee. So, this is called as a hyaluronic acid injection. The disadvantage of this injection are a little bit on the costly side, but the advantage is that it provides a lubricating effect and a shock absorber effect. So, once injected into the knee joint feels much better and it can be used for multiple times once in 6 months. The other most important topic and the most catchy topic right now is something called as stem cell therapy. If you look at stem cell therapy, medical specialty is using stem cell therapy for a lot of indications, for hair loss, pimple, acne treatment, for various modalities of treatment. From an orthopedic point of view, it can be tried and can be used in an arthritic knee. If you look at the stem cell therapy, there are 4 main important types of stem cell therapy. One is called as PRP, platelet rich plasma. One is called as ACS, autologous conditioned serum. The third one is an adipose tissue, where we take the stem cells from your fat, abdominal fat. The fourth one is BMAC, bone marrow aspirate concentrate, where you take the stem cells from your hip bone. So, I will come one by one. The first one is PRP, platelet rich plasma. It is very simple procedure. It can be done as a daycare or in an OPD. So, basically I would like to take around 15 to 20 ml of blood from your body, like how you give a blood test. This blood is put into a centrifuge machine and it is centrifuged depending on the requirement. So, it basically divides the blood into a platelet rich plasma, that is something called as good blood. So, this platelet rich plasma contains a lot of growth factors and this can be injected into your knee. The advantage is that it is completely safe because it is just your own blood and nothing is added to it, and the disadvantage, if you look at it, it is a little bit on the costly side because of the mission and lot of machinery involved, but it usually works well and it also takes a longer time. Many patients are not very comfortable having this because this is not basically a pain relief modality, because if you give a steroid injection, the patient might have an immediate pain relief, but a stem cell therapy will not give an immediate pain relief, but the aim is to slowly promote the cartilage growth. In fact, studies do say that it may take almost 6 months for an injection to work. The next injection type is something called as ACS, autologous conditioned serum. This is almost similar to a PRP, but it goes through another phase of processing. So, basically you take around 15 to 20 ml of blood from the patient, you put it in a centrifuge machine and the platelet rich plasma separates like exactly like a PRP. but after that you incubate it for almost 4 hours. This process initiates and increases the amount of growth factors, and this can be injected into knee joint, and this again promotes the cartilage growth. The other two modalities of stem cell therapy are a little bit invasive because it might require an anesthesia, because it cannot be done on a OPD procedure or a daycare procedure. For example, when you take fat cells from your abdominal fat, it might require an anesthetic involvement. Similarly, when you take a bone marrow aspirate concentrate from your hip bone marrow, it might again require some anesthesia. But both these things have a higher growth factor level and definitely do help. These are used in various modalities of treatment in orthopedics, even for when a fracture does not unite, something called as non-union, also these things are used. Now, I will talk about the stage 3 arthritis. So, stage 3 is a moderate arthritis. In this stage, physiotherapy, tablets, stem cell therapies might or might not work, but there is nothing wrong in trying it. For example, stem cell therapy can be combined along with the braces. If you look at the braces, I am not talking about the regular braces which a patient wears. We could have seen a lot of patients wearing a socks like thing around the knee, but that are usually not useful because they are mainly for immediate pain relief and they do not do any function. Basically, it even makes your muscles weaker because your muscles stop acting because the socks is holding the knee. So, the best brace to be used is something called as offloading or a unloader brace. An offloading or unloader brace is basically a brace which transfers the weight from one compartment to the other compartment. For example, if your inner side of the knee is affected, this brace will convert it to the outer side of the knee. So, when you walk, the inner side does not take any load. So, this protects the inner side of the knee and it opens up the inner side of the knee, and along with it, when you try stem cell therapies, stage 3 arthritis might work. The other mode of treatment for a stage 3 arthritis is a small keyhole surgery, basically called as an arthroscopic surgery. In an arthroscopic surgery, what I do is that I go into the knee joint, examine the knee joint completely and look for the areas of cartilage damage. Inside there will be some areas of cartilage type 1 or a type 2, basically a stage 1 or stage 2 arthritis, which might require something called as RF chondroplasty, a radio frequency chondroplasty, which smoothens the edges of the cartilage and allows the cartilage to move freely. And I can also notice some areas of grade 4, that is the cartilage is completely lost and the bone is exposed. In such situations, I can do something called as a microfracture technique. This microfracture technique basically promotes the growth factors coming from inside the bone marrow to come out and form a layer at the defect area. So, this is a very important procedure, and in stage 3 arthritis definitely this can be tried. Now, coming to the stage 4 arthritis. Stage 4 arthritis is supposed to be the advanced or severe stage of arthritis. Patients who are at this stage of arthritis have severe deformities, they have continuous severe pains, and the only option or the only treatment option for this stage is surgical intervention. Basically, again in surgical intervention you have got few options. Anybody who is less than 50 years of age with a stage 4 arthritis can undergo something called as high tibial osteotomy. This is not a knee replacement, but it basically breaks your bone and allows your bone to reshape in a proper shape with the help of plates and screws. So, this is the option which can be tried for patients who are less than 50 years of age. There are a lot of patients in stage 4 arthritis in less than 50 years of age, especially when you look at patients who had previous injuries. For example, somebody in a young age would have had a ligament injury in the knee, but this ligament injury would have not been addressed because the ligament injuries are usually painless. So, most of the patients tend to ignore the injury, but what happens is that if something in your knee joint is not working, automatically the knee wears out faster. So, they might end up in arthritis in a much early stage, less than 50 years of age. In such situations, the high tibial osteotomy is the treatment of or the surgical intervention of choice. But people who are more than 65 years of age and who have severe arthritis can always be looked upon a knee replacement. There are two kinds of knee replacement. One is a partial knee replacement, also called as unicondylar knee arthroplasty. The other one is a total knee replacement called as total knee arthroplasty. Unicondylar knee arthroplasty is used for patients who have only one compartment affected. Either if it is the inner compartment, only that compartment is replaced. If it is an outer compartment, only that compartment is replaced. So, this is called as a unicondylar knee arthroplasty. The other option is total knee replacement. Basically, if more than one part of your knee joint is affected, then you might require a total knee replacement. The advantage of total knee replacement is that the worn out part of your cartilage and the bone is cut and it is replaced with metal, and in between your thigh bone, leg bone, we keep a high definition plastic, something called as polyethylene. So, this allows your knee joint to move freely, and since the knee joint is now not having any bony surfaces hitting hard, it allows you to basically come out of the pain and you will be walking with a normal knee joint. So, basically a total knee replacement is one of the last surgical options for patient with severe arthritis. But to be very surprisingly, in Indian population, I still feel a lot of people when come to me in stage 4, and when I advise a surgery, they are not willing. they would always be worrying, saying that, oh, I am very old, at this age how can I undergo a surgery. But the patient has to understand that basically arthritis is degeneration. It happens only at an older age. Somebody at my age or somebody younger than my age is not going to develop an arthritis. So when an arthritis develops at an old age, it is a classical old age problem, and if it's a stage 4 arthritis, the only intervention is to do a total knee replacement. Patients not willing for a total knee replacement slowly start restricting their activities. So I have seen a lot of patients slowly stop going outside because the knee pain is severe. They will stop using Indian toilets, they will stop sitting down, they will stop using stairs up and down. So what actually happens is that they slowly get into a small shell like thing. So their activity level comes down. As we all know, as the patients or any person becomes older, the more active they are, it is more good for them. So if you slowly reduce your activity, these have side effects on your body. For example, if you are going to restrict your activity, your heart, it will start pumping less because it requires less blood to be pumped. So your heart goes into a small failure mode. Similarly, your lung capacity comes down because you hardly do any activities and the lung does not have any major functions to work on. So all these complications keep on adding, and in addition to that, just looking at the knee joint itself, an arthritic knee, something which is in stage 4 arthritis, if it is not treated properly, it slowly becomes worsened. The deformity increases. Some patients can develop stress fractures below the knee, and it might come to a different stage where I might require to use lot of metals in the knee. A normal knee replacement requires less metal usage, but an advanced knee replacement requires a lot of metal usage. The more metals used in the body, it is more bad for you because the longevity of the implant comes down. If you look at the normal knee replacement, the average lifespan of a knee replacement or the knee comes around 20 to 25 years. But if you look at an advanced knee replacement where you use lot of metals, the longevity obviously comes down by 10 to 15 years. So if a patient at the age of 50 undergoes an advanced knee replacement, they might again come to a second stage of surgery. So to avoid multiple surgeries and to avoid these kind of problems, it is always better to treat it at the early stage and at the proper stage. So basically, so far I have explained about knee arthritis in elderly. So if you look at knee arthritis in elderly, what I am trying to stress is that whenever you have a knee pain and if you are more than 50 years of age, never hesitate to treat yourself. Always better to go and check with the doctor. I would like to always take a series of x-rays and look at the stage of arthritis. And if you are going to come to me at a stage 1 or a stage 2 arthritis, it is very good because I can treat you very easily. A stage 3 and a stage 4 arthritis are advanced stage of arthritis where the treatment options vary, but again the main aim is to treat you properly and make sure that you get back to your normal activity level without any compromise. In addition, I would also like to talk about something which is very important. Since I have spoke about knee pain in elderly, knee pain can also occur in younger population, people who are less than 50 years of age. It is usually because of various injuries inside the knee joint. Basically, if you look at the knee joint, there are totally 5 ligaments. There are 2 ligaments inside the knee joint called as the ACL and PCL. ACL is anterior cruciate ligament and PCL is posterior cruciate ligament. And you have 2 ligaments on the sides. Inner side something called as medial collateral ligament and outside side the lateral collateral ligament. And one more important ligament is called as the medial patellofemoral ligament, which connects the thigh bone with the inner aspect of the patella. So these are the 4 main ligaments which involve the knee joint. These ligaments can get injured especially in younger population due to various sports activities. In most of the abroad countries I had worked with, for example, if you look at Spain, Spain has got a high population of people playing football. They have a high chance of injuring the knee. The commonest ligament injured in the knee is ACL, anterior cruciate ligament. So this ligament injury basically requires a surgical intervention because it does not heal by itself. Similarly, a posterior cruciate ligament injury also requires a surgical intervention. When you look at the inner and outer aspect of the knee, something called as medial collateral ligament and lateral collateral ligament, these ligaments, unless and until it is a stage 3 or a grade 3 tear which requires surgical intervention, it can be treated conservatively. And the medial patellofemoral ligament is something which prevents the kneecap from subluxating or moving outwards, and again if that is torn, it might require a surgical intervention. So basically, ligament injuries in the knee are something which are very important because this cannot be missed and should not be missed, because if you miss the ligament injuries in the knee and try to live with it, slowly you will get into the next phase of something important called as arthritis. In addition to the ligaments, you have 2 important structures in the knee. They are called as the shock absorbers, medial meniscus and lateral meniscus. Medial meniscus is on the inner aspect of the knee and lateral meniscus is on the outer aspect of the knee. So these 2 meniscus are nothing but shock absorbers, like how there are shock absorbers in a bike or a car. So when you walk, run, jump, the entire load on the thigh bone falls on the knee and these shock absorbers take the shock and distribute it. And these shock absorbers can also be torn during twisting injuries or hyperextension, where the knee becomes too straight and you fall down. In such kind of injuries, the shock absorbers can be torn. These shock absorbers also require surgical intervention if it is a grade 3 tear and involves the surface of the joint. Ultimately, anything which is treated early is more easy to treat. For example, if the shock absorbers are torn and you come in the early phase of treatment, all you require is to repair the shock absorber if it is in a good zone. But sometimes when patients come at a later stage, it is very difficult to repair and you need to cut a part of the shock absorber meniscus. So, this basically reduces the amount of meniscus in your joint, and this can cause arthritis at a later stage. The main advantage of all these ligament injuries or meniscus injuries in the knee is that most of these injuries can be treated with a keyhole surgery. The advantage of keyhole surgery is that once you do a surgery, you can be discharged the next day, and it's very painless operation because you make small holes, one hole for the camera to pass in and the other hole for the instrument to pass in. So, through the camera we can see in the monitor and operate. So, this basically reduces the pain for the patient because post-operatively the bigger the incision, the more painful for the patient. When you look at the ligaments, ACL and PCL ligaments, once they are completely torn, they cannot be reattached. In such situations, what we do is that we take extra tendons from your body. There are a lot of extra tendons in the body which can be taken and it can be used for your knee joint. In abroad countries, it is very common to take it from a cadaver or from a dead body, but in India, Indians generally do not prefer from dead bodies. So, most of the times it is taken from the own patient's body, but no need to worry because there are a lot of other ligaments in the body which can be used. So, basically an anterior cruciate ligament or posterior cruciate ligament are usually reconstructed with the patient's own ligaments. When you look at the MCL and LCL, that is the medial collateral ligament, lateral collateral ligament, very rarely you will require reconstruction because most of the times it can be repaired, and also it can be internally braced, or an additional support can be given with extra ligaments from your body if necessary. The other most important structure already discussed is the meniscus. So, meniscus early stages, it is very good to repair it, small stitches, and it is very good and very easy. At late stages, the problem is that it cannot be repaired and we need to cut off a part of the meniscus, and that is called as a partial meniscectomy, subtotal, or a total meniscectomy. And unfortunately, we do not have any advancements to replace the meniscus from any of our own body. So, meniscus is very crucial because once the meniscus is cut, you might slowly lose the meniscus and you might develop arthritis at a very early phase. So, basically the knee joint, one big advantage is that keyhole surgery is a very good treatment option. In the body, there are a lot of places where keyhole surgeries can be done, but the most commonly done keyhole surgery is usually in the knee joint, followed by the shoulder joint, and then followed by the other joints. So, in knee, the keyhole surgery gives us the biggest advantage, as I already explained, and all these ligaments can be reconstructed most of the times with the keyhole surgery, and these ligament reconstructions are very crucial for the patient to get back to their sports activity. If you look at the ACL, which is a commonly torn ligament in the knee joint, it is a pure sports related injury. If you can Google search it, it is most commonly during a football injury or a twisting injury to the knee, especially while jump landing. While you try to jump and hit a volleyball, or jump and throw a basketball, or you jump and hit a shuttle or a badminton, you can have an injury while jump landing on the floor. So, this is called as a jump landing injury or a twisting injury to the knee, and this can cause various ligament injuries. So, the biggest advantage of this ligament reconstruction is that you can get back to your sports activity after few months. It involves vigorous physiotherapy after surgical intervention, but you slowly get into a phase where you can slowly get into all the physical activities and you can be a normal person like before. So, sports injuries are something which are very common, and unfortunately in India, even though the sports and sports related activities are very less, but there are still people ending up with lot of sports injuries. It is mainly because of the fact that there is no proper training. Most of the times what we do is that we do not stretch ourselves properly and we directly involve ourselves in the sports and sports related activities. In such situations, there are high chance of injury to the knee. So, this is called as a sports related injury, and the commonest injuries are ligaments and meniscus. All these sports injuries are usually treated with the keyhole surgery or an arthroscopic surgery and usually have a very good outcome. So, what I am trying to say is that today I have discussed about two important topics. One is knee pain in elderly and the other one is sports injuries around the knee. If you look at the knee pain in elderly, as I said before, the most important thing is that any pain in the knee, never take it lightly, always visit a doctor and classify yourself into which stage of arthritis. And early stage of arthritis can be very well treated with stem cell therapies and various modalities of treatment. Late stage of arthritis, again nothing major to worry, you can definitely undergo a knee replacement or a corresponding proper respective surgery which will help you to come out of the pain and live a normal activity. If a patient says that just because of the knee pain my activity has come down and I am bedridden, then definitely it is a crime. I think everybody who has got a stage 4 arthritis should not hesitate or to treat themselves or undergo any kind of surgery. Okay viewers, I think all of you would have been very happy to listen to the common topic. Both the topics discussed today are very common topics, and I am very pleased to discuss this with you. So in future also I would like to come up with good topics and discuss the same with you, so that you can be well informed about the problems in your body and when to visit the doctor and have a proper treatment option. Thank you.